game. Okay. Thanks, Jesse. Well, I think, first of all, just understand that everybody has bad games, and the more games that you play, the more bad ones you are going to have. But also understand that you will decide what your definition of bad is. And so, I might make an assumption about what you mean. And I think you're probably talking about, not playing well in terms of offense and scoring. The other way that you might determine it is you don't do well defensively against the man that you're guarding. But so I think there are two things to talk about with that, right? Number one is, what does a bad game actually mean? Do you really have bad games, or do you just place your attention on things which you then deem to have not worked, and then you say, well, I played bad? So let's say that you focus all of your energy on scoring, and you feel that you need to be a scorer, you need to shoot the ball well, you need to put the ball in the basket in order for you to have a good game. If you don't do that, obviously, then you will say that you had a bad game. But whilst that is happening, whilst you are getting shots in the game, there are also many multitude other things happening in a basketball game. Okay, so as an example, there are rebounds to be had. Your team is going to run offense, whether that is in fast break or in a half court or out of bounds or after a free throw. There are things to do within the offense, be they pass, cut, screen, space, post up, drive, kick. There are so many things to do that can create space for other people, that, if rebounds are an easy way to understand that they create opportunities for other people. So if you get offensive rebounds, then you kick out to other people for shots or to go for more offense, then you have done positive things for the team. On the other side of the floor, maybe you have a bad day, let's say, guarding the guy that you're guarding. For some reason, maybe you're guarding a good player who's good at dribbling the ball and driving the ball. So if you focus on that, then you might say that you had a bad game. But did you box out for the whole game? Did you get defensive rebounds? Were you communicating in help? Were you trying to, did you take a charge, or did you have any opportunities to take a charge? Were you able to help you, if you play zone or whatever kind of defense you play, were you in good position? Did you move well? Did you run back? And if you notice, a lot of the things that I'm talking about, running back, being in position, communicating, boxing out, rebounding, like they're all things that you control. Rebounding is slightly not you don't control that the whole way, because you don't know exactly where the ball is going to go, but you control your effort to box out and your effort to rebound. So if you are doing all of those things in the game, first of all, at your level, Jesse, the way where you're at right now, to move to the next level, doing more of those things is what you got to do. You've got to do more stuff that contributes to the game. So take your focus away from like just one or two things around scoring, and broaden it out to like, how many ways can I impact the game? Because probably for two reasons. One, sometimes the ball just doesn't go in. As soon as the ball leaves your hand, it's a difficult game, basketball. It's, the basket is only so big. The game is moving very, very fast. And sometimes you have an off day. You watch any NBA team, any NBA player, it's just been happening, hasn't it? What's his name? Danny Green. Is it Danny Green? Just had a great game, but has been in a terrible slump recently. Okay. So staying with it, and then, showing up in the games and trying to contribute in many different ways is really important. Okay, you're saying something here. As my past game, got back into my old habit of always using a spin move, not having a good shot and kicking it out for a three for no reason. But I know I had good time on defense because I always stayed on my man and played decent help. Okay, so, I think given what you've just said there, like keeping it simple is is the most important thing, right? Keep the game simple. You know, I've seen you play, and I think that you can be really, really effective. You're very, very aggressive. You run the floor well. You attack. I like the way that you get downhill. Defensively, you get after it. So, you know, spin moves and stuff like that, they're a little bit dangerous, because if you're making spin moves in traffic, it is easier to lose the ball. So if ever things are getting away from you, or you feel like, you know, things are not going your way on that particular day, simplifying it, keeping it much more simple will help you to perform better. But then also going back to what I was saying earlier, it's like, you know, step out of just scoring and doing things with the ball, and think about how you might help other people do well in the game. And you can do that by talking to them. You can do that by helping them on defense. You can do that by moving off the ball. You can be doing that by super aggressive on rebounds on both ends of the floor. And in that way, if you instead of at the end of the game saying, oh, I had a bad game, you might say, well, I didn't shoot very well, but I controlled the rebounds. You know, I had 8 rebounds. I had 8 assists. You know, I spread the floor well. I ran the floor well. So, you know, now I just need to go work on my jump shot for the next time. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that if you could never have a bad game, because yes, you might not have a good shooting game, but if your game involves all of the other things, then, you know, look, I think Dennis Rodman is, you know, one of the greatest examples of that. Like, the guy averaged 5 points for his whole career, like 2 baskets a game for his whole career. Man's got 7 NBA rings. So, you know, it's like, if you change the way you look at it, maybe you don't ever have to have a bad game. But let's say that you do. Let's say that you're really disappointed with the way that you performed. So, you know, let's just take a real world example from your club. The under 14s just finished playing in the finals and lost both the games. Okay, so they probably walking away from that game saying, we didn't do what we were supposed to do, and we are disappointed, we are angry, we are upset, we are frustrated. And in the big games, you know, that is definitely, those are emotions that you will experience. You definitely will feel that, and you'll feel like an opportunity has been lost. For some time, you will feel like that. Okay, maybe it'll be all night after the game. Maybe it'll be a whole day next day. But at some point, you will start to get away from that, and you will say, right, now what do I need to do to make sure that A, I get back here again to a final, and B, I perform better when I'm here. Okay, and this is the moment to try to get to as quickly as you can, but also to seize, because the bad games and the times when you don't do as well as you want to do are the times for you to use to get better. Okay, so if you are making mistakes and you're doing things that are not, in your mind, correct, then once you're finished being upset, look at what those things are. You know, if you have video, this is a good way to review it. And then, you know, start going, right, here's what I'm going to do now. Like, I'm going to work on my spin move, or I'm going to take that out and I'm not going to do that anymore, and I'm going to make a different move, or, you know, whatever it is. You know, start working on the next things that you're going to do to perform better in the next game. And to finish this point, it's like, this is life as a basketball player. It is life as a performer at a high level. Things are not going to go so well for you sometimes, and sometimes they are. And then the next day or the day after that, there's going to be training, and there's going to be more games to be preparing for. So, you know, enjoy the ride, enjoy being a basketball player. Even if you have a bad game, that happens to 100% of the basketball players in the world, right? Every single person will do that. So don't beat yourself up as much as possible. Like, sometimes you might beat yourself up. You might get mad at yourself and say, well, I should have done that and this, should have done this, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, get over that as quickly as you can and start getting back to work. And that is a process. Yeah, that is a process. You play, you do well or you don't do well in certain things. You look at those things, you make an adjustment, and then you start getting better. And then at some point you will play again. And then you will play well, or you will do some things well and some things not. And then you will go back and review. Yeah. And then you will say, right, I did this well. I didn't do this well. Now I'm going to work on this. And we go back to work and we train, and then we play again. Like, this is it, man. This is the life of a player. So I hope that in some way answers your question. You know, we had a saying in the under-18s team this year: never too high, never too low. Never too high, never too low, man. You can't get too worried about the stuff that goes wrong, and you can't get too happy about the stuff that goes right, because we have to stay the course, man. We have to stay the course. And that's a really important thing to try to understand, because it you know, in the big games, it's difficult to keep an even keel, but it's really important. Okay. All right. I got another person come on, Victor. So this is a Q&A session, and we didn't have a lot of questions. So you are free to ask any questions right now. I will take any and all of them at the moment. And then if I don't get any anymore, once we've finished, then we sign off. But that is the deal today. I don't know if you saw it, Victor, but we were talking about how a player can come back after a bad game. And I put on the Basketball Scotland Facebook page because the under-16s national teams are playing right now. So I'm not sure if you can find the Facebook page for the Home Nations tournament, the Home Nations 2022 tournament. Home Nations 2022 tournament. So no more questions here at the moment. Okay. Last season, I could do over off season to try and get a chance at Premier things. Are you asking me that? What can I do over the off season to try and get a chance at Premier for next season? Is that what you're asking? Okay. Okay. The trials are coming up, and what team are you trying to get into? 16s or 18s? 16s. Okay. And 18s for Victor. All right, cool. So the first thing, right, with a trial, let me just hook this up and go on Facebook if I can. This is a good question, I think, for a lot of people that are going to be put that there, and then I will answer you. All right, so when you get to, so I'm going to talk about two things. All right, the first one is the trial itself, and then the second one is the work that you're going to have to do between now and the start of the season. There's two very different things, because for you guys, those trials are coming in a couple of weeks, like 3 or 4 weeks. So, you know, you're not going to be able to make massive changes to your game in 3 or 4 weeks. You can start for sure, but you know, I wouldn't say like you're going to be able to add something, you know, super special to your game in 3 or 4 weeks. Now, 3 or 4 months is a different story, right? If you're thinking about what you're going to do in preparation for September, then, you know, that's the second part of what I'll talk about. So preparing yourself to get on the team, which for you guys, trials are happening beginning of June. And then what you could do to add to your game to be ready for the season. All right. So number one, the trial. All right. I talked about a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago. The number one thing, right, as a coach, when I'm watching trials, obviously, I'm not going to lie to you, I want the best players. right? I want the best players. I want the guys that can defend on the ball, and depending on their position, can they do that at multiple positions? I want guys that are going to sprint the floor. I want guys that can finish with both hands. I want guys that can catch and shoot, that can move off the ball and can think the game. Yeah. So, you know, if you can beat people off the dribble with 1 or 2 bounces, you can get by somebody, you force defense to come to you, and then you make a good decision. That shows that you're a high level player. For example, you catch the ball on the break, you're able to jab and go by somebody with 1 bounce. The help defense comes, and then you find your teammate for a catch and shoot. All right. So that's I probably, one of the first things I'm looking for as a coach is, does this person know how to play the game? Can I coach this person? Right. Because you might be the greatest ball handler in the gym, but if you don't understand the game, especially as we get to 16s and 18s, right? If you don't understand, how to play in fast break, how to play with other people, how to be a teammate, how to finish when in traffic, and how to make a good decision. And then also maybe how to work with other people in 5-on-5 offense. If you don't understand that stuff, then I'm writing down like, this guy can handle the ball, but I'm not sure he really gets what's going on. Okay. Hey to Lamb right there, and JB, I think, if you're still on. So that's the first thing is, as a coach, I'm not lying to you. You've got to show up, man. You've got to show up with the skills that you have. Okay. But don't try to do things that you cannot do. So you have to be honest with yourself about the kind of player that you are. All right. Don't try to score all the time. That's not what I want to see. I don't care. Right. I don't care if you are the best player in the gym. If you're the best player in the gym, I want to see that you know this. And you know this by leading, right? By showing, maybe you need to show in the beginning that you can take somebody off the dribble, you can score, you get a catch and shoot or a pull-up jump shot, you stop somebody in defense. And then after that, you are facilitating, and you are bringing people to you to make your team better when you're scrimmaging. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're the best player in the gym, I don't need to see you beating everybody and just doing it all by yourself. That doesn't show me very much. That shows me that you might be a little bit selfish, that you might be a little bit insecure about your skills, that you're trying to impress me too much. And I have no idea whether you know how to play team basketball, because that is very important when we get to the highest levels. You've got to be able to play the team game. Okay. So that's a little bit about like your game, bring what you have, bring what you do it to the best of your abilities. Okay. And just show who you are. All right. Now, the second, I think the second most important thing is kind of equal to that, is if you can be the hardest working player in the gym, you are almost guaranteed to make a second cut, if not the team. Okay. If I will find the hardest working kid out there, and I'm telling you, I will take him for the summer. I don't care if he's one of the worst players. If he's working harder than every single other person in there, if there's like 30 people in there, and this is the number one person working harder than anybody else, and that means sprinting on offense and defense, first in the line in the drills, answering questions from the coach, asking me more questions if they have any, communicating with other players on the court, especially people that you don't know. I'm picking up on all that stuff, right? So, and from my own experience of being in trials as a player and also as a coach, it works. It just works, man. If you can outwork people in a one-day environment, you give yourself a real chance. And then it matters less how good you are on the day, because everybody, like you, Jesse, your first question was, what do you do if you come back from a bad day? Well, if you come back from a bad day at the trial and you didn't work that hard, you probably got cut. But if you had a bad day and you didn't make shots the way you wanted, but you outworked absolutely everybody in the gym, you're probably getting another chance because of that. Like, I appreciate that stuff. As a coach, it's very difficult to teach and help people to understand the importance of just giving everything to it, yeah, and showing how important it is to you. So those are two things, yeah. I'm looking for the basketball IQ, for, you know, how well do you know the game, and can you show me what you can do. I'm looking for how hard are you working, and those are the two biggest things, right? And then I would say in the trial, you just try to connect with the team that you're on when you scrimmage, because usually in trials there's going to be a lot of games played, yeah. So can you bring people together on your team? Because if you can, again, it doesn't matter that much if you're the guy that's scoring or doing all the things that you might notice on the stat sheet. If I notice that there's a guy on that team over there, somehow his team is winning, and you can see the energy of the team, like guys are getting, they're becoming more connected, they're passing the ball better, they're working together in offense, they're covering for each other on defense. And if it's because of you, because you're talking to people and you're learning other people's names, and you are having little huddles outside of the games, you know, when you're waiting for your turn to come in, and you're just being a leader. If you're being a leader, then I need a leader on my team, right? That's don't forget that when a coach is running a trial, I'm not just trying to pick the best players, right? And or maybe it means I'm not trying to pick the best players by what you think are the best players. Yeah. So if there are 10 kids in the trial that are the 10 best scorers in the gym, I'm probably not taking all 10 of them, because I don't need 10 scorers, right? I need a guy that can defend the ball on the outside and probably on the inside. I need guys that can rebound. I need guys that can run the floor. I need guys that can set screens. I need guys that can space. I need guys that can shoot from three. I need guys that can finish at the basket. I need leaders. I need communicators, you know. So, hey, there's so many ways you can contribute in your team, and you have to be able to do that in the trial. So again, don't focus so much on, you know, just scoring, because like I say, I don't need 12 scorers on the team. There aren't 12 scorers on the team. We need to be clear about that, right? When the games come, who's the scorer on our team? Who are the top 3 guys that are going to score the ball? Because we need to get them the ball, right? If you're the defender, then you need to be in your position, okay? So that's the trial, right? I would say those are the 3 things which you could focus on for the trial, all right? Now, the summertime is a little bit different, because now you're going to have a chance to work, a chance to develop some of the skills that you might need for the next season. Okay, so obviously this depends on who you are, what kind of player you are, the position that you play, and the skill set that you already have. But there are a few things which really help. Okay, so the number one for me, it still hasn't changed in a long, long time, is can you catch and shoot the ball and make shots from different places on the catch after you've been moving around, you know? And so that starts in transition, you know? Can you run the floor and catch and finish at the basket? Or can you run the floor and catch and stop and shoot the ball? Can you make those 2 shots consistently? Because if you can, straight away, you're somebody that we can use in a game to win games. If you run the floor and I can kick it ahead to you and you can catch and you can make that shot, you start to make defenses pay attention to you. And in that way, it makes it more difficult to defend in transition. And now our team can be more effective. So can you catch and shoot? Can you catch and score without dribbling? If you can't, or if you're not super consistent at that, then maybe you need to look at your jump shot, you know, we can say your form, your mechanics. Are you a consistent shooter? Does it look good? Does it go in? And then you start to work on all kinds of different ways to catch and shoot the ball. I've shared drills and workouts on my website and on Instagram for that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go there, have a look at that stuff. You know, you can also ask me. I can point you in the right direction. Then I would say being able to play off the catch is very, very important. So that means that especially in a half court, when you catch the ball, how do you play, right? And for me as a coach, right, I don't speak for everybody, but for me, what I'm looking for is, do you square up to the basket? Do you look at the rim? Are you prepared to shoot the ball? Because of the first thing that I said, you know, catching and shooting the ball is really important. So is that your first thing in your mind when you catch the ball on the perimeter? Catch and I'm going to shoot it, right? Now, after that, do you have one or two moves that you are very, very good at? They can be very simple. Yeah, it can just be a cross, one bounce and finish at the basket, or it can be a cross, one bounce and then a cross back to the other side. And can you do that very effectively, very quickly, and finish very strong at the basket, but then also have an appreciation of space and other teammates. So when you get into scrimmages in the summertime, working on that is I think a really good idea. Like catching on the 3-point line, you're either shooting it, you're either passing it to the next guy, or you're playing one-on-one. And when you play one-on-one, it's got to be quick, sharp, to the point, to the basket. And then as you get to the rim, either finish strong, or as the help defense comes over to you, you're able to make a pass. Now, there are so many things involved in that little sequence I just talked about, right? You don't even need to worry about anything else. Because if you're doing a lot of work over the summer by yourself, then you know there's not a ton of stuff that you can do within a team environment that can help you. This can help you. You can really work on catching and shooting the ball in a number of ways. You know, you can even add a dribble pull up to that in a number of different ways, in all different places, around the court, on the move, going forwards or coming around to catch and shoot, and then work on, if you're not going to shoot it, making a jab step or a cross dribble and drive to the basket. Yeah. And then making sure that you get into scrimmage situations where you have a chance to practice that in live situations. Okay. Last thing I would say is, again, with the scrimmage situations and any training sessions that you do where there are other players around that you can go up against, is working on defending the basketball. Yeah, defending the person with the basketball, developing a way to stop people from getting past you. Okay. And I can't really tell you how that goes here, you know, sitting in a room on a camera, but you have plenty of resources to figure that stuff out. Go to the NBA, go to the EuroLeague, go to games that are on YouTube, watch how high level players play defense on the ball. All right. Check it out. You know, figure out, take a look at their feet, take a look at the angle of their body, take a look at what is it, ask yourself the question, what is this defender trying to do? And then did they do it? Yeah. So those are three things, aren't they? Catching and shooting the ball, catching and finishing, especially in transition, developing one or two moves off the catch and doing it quickly, doing it with strength and finishing at the basket, and then defending the ball, right? Develop those three things and study the game as much as possible, watching full games from the NBA or EuroLeague. And I think that you'll be making strides to being a better player. Jesse, before I move to that next question, how was that, mate? Is that good for you, or any other things on that? Yes, Midge, if you're still there. Okay, Victor is asking, if you don't do well in a trial and then you do well in your off season, could you still make a team? Okay, so when I coach trials, or when I'm attending a trial as a coach, you know, there is that time at the end where you have to tell people that they didn't make it. And it's obviously really disappointing for the players that don't make it. And you know, it's a really hard conversation, because you have to say to people, look, guys, you know, you weren't good enough today. But any coach that is worth anything will not close the door on you. Okay. And it becomes, your responsibility is to get to the trial, to show up and do your best. That's your job. Okay. If you do that and you get cut, then that is a clear message that you have stuff to work on. Okay. Because if you don't make it in the trial, right, that doesn't mean that you are, if you don't make it in the trial, man, I mean, you're a little bit away from the top of that team. You didn't make the trial, so you're fighting against the 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, and 7th placed players on that team just to get on the team. And all of those guys are going to be fighting throughout the whole year for some minutes. Yeah, the number 12 and number 11 and number 10 on that team are not going to be super happy for most of the year because they're not going to play very much. Okay, so one thing to realize, right, about a trial is if you do the stuff I said at the beginning, like you're the hardest working player out there and you don't make it, then you must be, you're not very good. And you have to be honest with yourself, right? And the real way that you can actually check that, right? Let's say you don't make it. Yeah. You got to go to the coach, just be the last guy in the gym. Just wait. Yeah. Chill out, relax, accept what's going on, wait for all the stuff to die down. Yeah. Wait for the coach outside or in the gym and just say, coach, look, I understand I didn't make it. I just want to know, can you tell me what were the reasons? What did I do? And please be honest with me so that I can go and work. Yeah. Because even if you are trialing under 18s or under 16s, even if you don't make these teams, you can still play basketball. You can still play to a high level, but maybe just not yet. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make here is that you do need to be honest with yourself about where you are. If you don't make that team, then it's not just the top 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5 guys that you are not in. You're not in the top 12 or 14. Yeah. And you're going to have to get a lot better to get anywhere near the top 6 guys here that are going to play a lot of the minutes in the team. And the reason I say that is because that can help you. That can help you to develop and have a sense of urgency. You need a sense of urgency when you train. Like really, if you really want it, you got to get after it a lot. And it's going to be tiring and hard work. And, it's going to be a long summer. You're not going to have fun. It's not fun. Getting better to try to get in a team if you are not, currently in the top 12 is not fun. Right. But that is the kind of stuff that you have to love. You have to love the challenge. You have to love the challenge, right? Of waking up at 5 or 6 in the morning and not wanting to get out of your bed, but doing it anyway, to go to the court to put up 150 shots before, breakfast or before you go to school. Right. You're not going to enjoy that, at least not in the beginning. Yeah. But these are the kind of things which, if you do them over a course of time, they will pay off. Right. And so what I'm saying is you come back to that and you will, if you do the work, of course, if you are now in the top 9 of that team, then they would be silly not to take you. And if they don't take you because they have some kind of rules or anything like that, I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. You you'll have to go to another team. But I would say that you can be a pest in that sense. If you don't make it on a team, right, and then you work your butt off all summer, you work so hard and you actually get better, and so that you should make that team, then you need to find ways to prove that and try to get back on the team. And if they don't take you, then you're just going to have to go a different route. Yeah, you're just going to have to go to a different team and be the best player on that team, and maybe at some point in the season you will play them, or you will get a chance to be around the team or the coach and make your point. Or maybe you're just gonna have to wait another season. I don't know. So I can't answer it definitively. I don't know if teams will take you if they cut you at the beginning, but they should. If they're, I took a guy in this year at Christmas time from the conference to the Premier, right? So for me, it's never too late until the deadline, right? The signing deadline. Yes, Darnell and when, my friend. All right. Any more before I go? This has been awesome. Hopefully I helped you, Victor. I don't know. Let me know. All right, we're running out of time here. So there wasn't a ton of questions before I started here, and I was kind of disappointed. I didn't actually get after it on social media and put this out, so we didn't have a big attendance. But I wanted to come on because, you know, there's something about this which I had a session the other day, a couple of weeks ago, where I talked about, I can't remember what the topic was, but I was talking about showing up, and I was also talking about winning and losing. Okay, so, you know, for me, I'm trying to provide something for you guys, try to, you know, be here for you. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them as best I can, and try to give of the experience that I've had, right? So if no one asks me any questions, that kind of hurts my feelings, right? Because I think, oh man, nobody values what I'm doing. But you know, that's partly social media and trying to break through and trying to get noticed and things like that. So, you know, that's on me, man. I didn't try hard enough to get people to pay attention to me this week. So, you know, I got to get rid of that. I got to say, right, forget that. I don't care. I'm going to show up, right? Part of being a professional is showing up over and over and over again, right? Because if you do that consistently, then that will pay dividends over time. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Show up, right? And this is me embodying that, even though I didn't have no questions on this thing before I came in here. So I could have just shut it down and, you know, and said, right, well, I'm not coming on then today. But having shown up, Jesse showed up and asked some great questions. Victor asked a great question, and we have had a great, I got Darnell on here. This is awesome. You know, so for me, it's been a great experience already. And then the second thing is, you know, winning and losing. We all want to win. We all want to do well. As a coach, I want people to listen to me. I want people to respect what I have to say. But sometimes you have to lose. Yeah. So I tried to do something here with this call where, you know, I was hoping for, you know, people asking me some questions, loads of people get on the call, and turns out that we didn't get that many people, but we had and ended up with some great questions. So having had taken a little bit of an L there, a little bit of a loss, show up, you know, you guys show up, and then we have a great time and turn it into a win. So sometimes when you lose, you know, that is a real opportunity for you to win next one, or turn it around. So awesome. Hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. I'm going to hang on for a couple more minutes. If there's any more questions, let me just check on the other bit there. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Guys, are we good? Nice one. All right, guys. I'm going to switch off. Thank you, everybody. I'll be in touch. You know where I am on social media, Kairos Performance, kairos-performance.com. I got a bunch of free stuff on there as well. So if you go on that website, there's a little free bit where most of the full-length videos and the workouts and some other stuff I've done in the past is there for you to have. You know, just use it, and these things will go there as well in a few days' time. Okay, so if you need me, reach out. And for all of you that I'm looking at right now on this call, I hope to see you all very soon. Bye, guys. Oh,